I'm going to orient objects along a path. So I'm going to create a composition. I really don't need this to be very long. I'll make it about 4 seconds. Sorry, 0.4. And create that. So let's begin with type. I'm just going to set a word. Animate will be good. Sort of center that up in my, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll center it up in my space. And I'm going to grab my pen tool with the type layer selected. I'm going to draw a nice smooth path. And what that does, since I had the type layer animated, it creates a mask. And now in order to animate my type to that mask, I'm going to open my path options, text path options, path, and I'm going from the drop down, I'm going to choose mask 1. You see it drops it directly to the line. And I can animate either my first margin or my last margin, but I'm going to do the first margin since I'm going to go from left to right. So let's just kind of, with our playhead at the beginning, just scroll this back till we don't see it. Set a keyframe. And let's come out here to 3 seconds. And let's come all the way out to 4 seconds. And because when we animate type along a path like this, it moves kind of quickly and it isn't very readable. But regardless, that's how we can animate our type along a path. So I can do the first margin, the last margin. I can also reverse the path. If I drew the path backwards and it's starting on the end that I don't want it to animate from, simply turn on reverse path. The problem is it'll also flip it. It won't just change the end point, but it flips it to the underside. So we could use that for some other kinds of effects. But there we go. Very simply animating type along a path. So let's create a new composition and let's animate an object along a path. So same length. Let's begin by drawing our shape that we're going to animate along a path. And I'm just going to draw a real quick triangle. And remember that anytime we animate an object along a path, when we get this all set up, it's actually going to animate, it's going to follow along the center point of the object. So we need to make sure that we select our object, and I'm going to center my anchor point by centering anchor point in the layer content, which will should drop my anchor point right there in the middle. And then I'm going to size this down a little bit because I'm sure it's a little bit big. There. So we've got that. The difference between type and a general object is that we don't want to have this object selected when we animate, because we're actually going to create a path and we're going to use its points and convert those to keyframes, basically. So I'm just going to draw an animation path here. And then I'm just going to open that up, open the contents, the shape contents, the path, select the path, and copy. Command-C on my keyboard. Hide that. And then I'll come down here to my plane, and I'm going to open my position property, select it. And with my playhead at the beginning, I'm going to paste. So you see each point along my path becomes a keyframe. I got 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. They each become a keyframe. And if I pull this along, it follows. But it's not oriented to the path. So let's orient this to the path. So with the object selected, let's go to our layer panel, back down here to our transform menu, auto orient, orient along the path and say OK. Now you see that it follows that path. If this is too fast and you need to slow it down, select all 3 keyframes, hold down the Option key on your keyboard, click on the last one, and drag it out to the length you want it to be. So let's go straight to the very end. And we've oriented this object along the path. So 2 simple ways of animating an object type and then the object itself, or a primitive object, airplane, what have you, along a path.